Samgele, a very good morning to you. Well, the funeral service is about to start. I'm sure many people who support the Watsons family and maybe some of the ANC leaders as well are expected there today.
Yes, indeed, Bradan. ANC leaders are expected here, namely the former president of the Republic of South Africa and the former president of the African National Congress, Jacob Gedleyihlekisa Zuma, will be the keynote speaker here at this funeral service of Mr. Gavin Joseph Watson here in his hometown of Elizabeth. I'm just going to ask my colleague Nceba just to show you some of the various family members, friends, and other dignitaries and the ANC struggle stalwarts whom have arrived here at the Port Elizabeth Hall to bid farewell to what they describe as a philanthropist, Gavin Watson, an entrepreneur, a man who served this particular community of Nelson Mandela Bay municipality. But also Gavin Watson comes with some sort of baggage and history when it comes to allegations of state capture, corruption, money laundering, when it comes to his company African Global Operations, formerly known as Bosasa. It also go to his controversial death when he was driving to OR Tambo airport last week, driving a Toyota Corolla, hitting a concrete pillar at OR Tambo International Airport just after 5:05 in the early hours of the morning, losing his life. But I'm going to bring in Mr. Zola Yeye, who's a struggle stalwart here in the Eastern Cape and Nelson Mandela Bay, who seemingly has a history with Mr. Gavin Watson. Mr. Yeye, what can you tell us about this man who's been characterized by many as controversial, corrupt, part of money laundering, and those on the other side who perceive him as a struggle stalwart, a hero, a philanthropist, in the words of Mama Nomvula Mokonyane? How do you perceive Mr. Gavin Watson?
I just want to say first and foremost that when something like this, tragic as it is, happens, I always quote some lyrics from a song that I've heard on numerous occasions that says, every time you go away, you take a piece of me with you. A piece of my struggle, a piece of my being has been taken away. Gavin came in his 20s with his brothers, Ronnie, Valance, Chiki, with other guys, Colin Snodgrass and Mike Ryan. They came and crossed the Rubicon. They came to us and they were branded as K-booties. They were branded in so many ways. And they did something that no one thought they'll ever do, playing with black people. They arrived at a time when where our mantra was no normal sport in an abnormal society, where we said we won't cross, we won't take our of blood from anyone. They stayed with us and they made a paradigm shift, an indelible mark in our lives. That's why I say a piece of me today is gone. A piece of this community is no more. And his role in our society stays strong, and a lot of people today, much as they don't show it visibly, but they are crying inside. Because Gavin, he may be purported as somebody corrupt, somebody this and that, but he was an incredible individual.
So, if you look at the Gavin Watson that you met many years ago in the 80s, to the Gavin Watson whom he was in this past 20 years of democracy, and particularly within this past 10 years of a period of state capture, I'm going to ask Mr. Charles Ngakula to also come in and give a word on Gavin Watson and how he perceived Gavin Watson. Mr. Ngakula, you can see there is a reunion here of those who were in the struggle for our freedom. Mr. Ngakula, just your words on Mr. Gavin Watson and his passing, and why you deemed fit to come here and pay your respects.
The first thing I want to say is that I've known the Watson family for many years. And to me, they are not just comrades or friends. They are family. I'm here because we are burying a member of our family.
Yes.
Mr. Ngakula, if we look, and how would you characterize Mr. Gavin Watson? A lot has been said about him. A lot has been written about him and his company, Bosasa, African Global Operations. How would you describe the man, Gavin Watson?
The other day, I watched an interview on TV, which was done with people who grew up together with those young boys from early stage. And what they said then, describing Gavin himself as a man who always has had a big heart and who was always available to assist in whatever circumstances, actually hit the nail on the head. Because that is how they have been, always generous, all of them. Not just the 4 sons of Daniel Watson, but Daniel Watson himself. There are many stories that people will tell about those young boys' father, and to what extent, therefore, he made a contribution to better the lives of our people. And it was natural for his sons, therefore, to participate in our struggle for freedom.
When you look at the Gavin Watson South Africans have come to know, the alleged Gavin Watson who's corrupt, entangled in issues of state capture, corruption, money laundering, which you spoke fiercely against during the era of the Guptas. You are now one of the advisors to the incumbent president of the Republic of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, who received a 500,000 rand donation for his CR17 campaign for the ANC presidency from Gavin Watson. How would you like South Africans to remember Gavin Watson?
To start with, I was not surprised that Gavin would have made a donation of that kind. And he was not buying anything. It was natural for him to contribute towards whatever good cause. And what he saw, therefore, in President Cyril Ramaphosa was a good cause. And therefore, he made a donation towards that. It was in his character, in his bones, as a human being.
Mr. Nene, I'd love for you to have your last say about the legacy of Mr. Gavin Watson.
A brave heart, benevolent to the core, a people's person and a son of the soil. No one is infallible. Let one rise and say, I'm pure, I'm divine. We all make mistakes in this life. Gavin has made his own mistakes, but this guy, in total, he was a pure son of the soil who made the life for everyone bearable, whether poor, whether old or young. Testimonies behind me, that choir, he said it 11 years ago. Today those guys, unbeknown to him, is no more now, that they'll sing at his funeral. What an incredible journey of this guy.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Mr. Ngakula, thank you. There you have it, Bradan, son of the soil, a giver of note, contributed to a good cause in the election of Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa as the President of the Republic of South Africa, but also comes with baggage of state capture, corruption, money laundering, and corruption.
Thank you very much, Samgela Maseko in Port Elizabeth, ahead of the funeral service for Gavin Watson, speaking there to Zola Yeye and Charles Ngakula.